You know, I feel like a lot of people, money seems to disappear a lot faster these days, and it's difficult to save for the future. So what's the secret to investing? Tony Torino from Barnum Financial Group says the secret is to invest like an institution. And here to tell us why it's so beneficial is Tony. Tony, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. Now, tell me what it's about when you say like an individual should invest like an institution. What's involved in that?
Well, it's just a different thought process. Traditionally, old school thinking, or the way that we used to invest our money, was a very traditional asset allocation, had very traditional asset classes. Large cap, mid cap, small cap, some international, some fixed income and bonds and cash. That was traditional. That's the way people have done it. We have seen over the last, call it decade, and specifically last year, that doesn't necessarily work. There's different risks that are associated with, and different assets have become more correlated to one another, meaning that they move in the same directions. What it means when you think of like an institution, for example, big institutions, big endowment funds, they use much different asset classes to be able to achieve the same result. For example, alternative investments, absolute return investments. They may go into real estate. They use different non-traditional asset classes, still looking for diversity, creating diversity, because they can have assets that move in different directions for different reasons at different times, therefore still achieving the same goal. Now, they have some different parameters. They have access to some things that a retail investor might not, but for the thought process, very much can be the same. And an individual can start thinking that way, reduce risk in a portfolio, and still get the return that they're looking for.
What's the biggest benefit to that?
The risk reduction, because what you want to look at is assets are designed to offset liabilities.
Right.
When you think of it, you have an asset, you have money because you're offsetting some kind of liability. Okay. If you think of retirement, for example, it's a liability. It has a cost. There's a certain amount of money you need for a certain amount of years, and that gives you a total amount. Your assets are designed to offset that. So the biggest benefit that you're going to have is the fact that you can reduce risk to get a higher probability of success for your money to last.
Now, are you finding that in today's economy that people are being a lot more conservative? I mean, or is that just, obviously they are. There's some people that are still taking some risk out there or what?
There are people that are taking risk, and I believe that's what you're seeing in this trend in the market today. You're seeing people get in the market when they think that there's value and getting out when they think that the value is away, and that's why I think you've seen a range that this market has remained in. I still think people are nervous, they're conservative. If you listen to some of the statements that have been made in the public about the banking system, so I believe that people are still very hesitant today, and conservative would probably be one of the right words.
All right, now you guys have got you're known for having just a tremendous heart. You give a lot back to the community, and I know you've got a whole separate foundation set up that's a separate entity from Barnum Financial. Can you tell us a little bit about the foundation that you're involved in and how it all got started?
Well, the Foundation for Life was started by Paul and Mindy Blanco. Paul is the managing director of the Barnum Financial Group, and a couple years back he decided, and him and his wife decided they wanted to continue to give back to the community, but in a much more formal way. So they formed the Foundation for Life. I was fortunate enough this year to be elected as the president of the Foundation for Life, and very happy to be the face of that foundation. And we are out in the community strengthening relationship with existing families. We look to help children. So we spend a lot of time giving back, and it's a great organization.
If you could really sum it up with one core mission that you have for the foundation, what would that mission be?
We want to strengthen and deepen relationships with families in the community.
And you've given so much back to the community. I know multiple charities have benefited from what you've been doing. It's incredible. Now, do you find that in today's world where people are starting to give back, they're consistently giving from the heart, and is it more difficult now to get people to give?
No, I think people are still giving. People who are charitably inclined, Steve, they're going to give. We have raised this year 400 bikes for underprivileged kids, ranging from White Plains to Bridgeport to New Britain to Rhode Island. We continue to give back various charities that we give to throughout the state. We get requests daily to give help, and we meet monthly and we give out money.
Now, what kind of things do you do throughout the year to raise money for these different events?
We have a big employee giving campaign.
Yep.
That's one. We go out in the community. Our name is out there, so different events. One of the events that we do have coming up is a bowl-a-thon that we do, and we run this bowl-a-thon. Employees come, they come out, and they are able to raise dollars, and we also give a portion back to junior achievement as well.
Now, when you get all your employees together, how many employees have you got when you go out there to do a bowling night?
You know, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you, but I'll put it this way. Our firm has about 400 employees, and you get quite a bit of sponsorship from all of them.
Now, when you look at that, I mean, because I know I've been involved with a couple of these bowling events before. I mean, have you got some teams within your company? Does it get competitive in a good fun way? Is it competitive?
Yeah, it's extremely competitive. We do that's what we do. We captain teams. Teams come out and play. We do raffles and other sorts of activities to raise dollars on top of the actual bowling. But we do make it somewhat competitive, well, and good fun. But the idea is to raise the money for a great organization.
All right, now for folks out there that, unfortunately, right now, things have changed with them. A lot of people, unfortunately, have been outsourced, downsized, whatever you want to say, and they're sitting around with maybe 401ks from their businesses and all that. What's the first cautionary step they should take and move forward if they really don't have, your company was holding your money, you were trusting them, and now all of a sudden you've got a chunk of money. Where do you begin?
Well, I think, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago when I was on with you, is we talked about team. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest part is that when you have financial situations throughout your life, which you're going to have, leaving jobs, retiring, colleges, marriages, weddings, etc., when you have that, that's when you want to go to your team. You want to go to your team and say, listen, there's been a major event in my life. I'm leaving a job. I now have a large sum of money in a 401k. Do I leave it? Do I roll it to an IRA? What is the most tax-efficient way to do that? And why am I doing that? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, the most important thing, Steve, is that what is the goal? What is you trying to accomplish? If it's retirement, how does that money now fit into your retirement plan to accomplishing your goal? What is it you're looking to do? But the first and foremost is the step of the team. You have to have a good, solid financial team, good, solid financial institution behind you to guide you to do that.
Today it's about Tony and the team. And if you'd like to talk to Tony or if you'd like to find out more about Barnum Financial, let's put some information up on the screen. There's Tony right there. Anthony J. Torino. It's so fantastic. I can't thank you so much. I always pick up a few extra things while you're here, and you should actually hold my checkbook. Hey, coming up next.